G'day YouTube, how the heck we doing? It is Foul Play here, back for the fifth and final match of this Pioneer League. Currently 3-1, and the deck's looking semi-reasonable, my play less so. We on the die roll here against Jakers, having this 7-card hand. I think we'll mulligan, it's just not quite what I'm looking for. This looks a little bit better, but it's still not super amazing. Guess we ditch Beseiju and get into it with Generous Visitor plus SRAM. They're not really the creatures I want. I just don't want to go down more cards than what I have to. If I end up playing out Razorverge Thicket, Human Warlock, so I guess this is just humans, what we're versing at this point. We do find a Basara Archer Tower, and it is going to be worth playing that Basara Archer Tower. Our opponent can like just remove our creatures, so we don't really want that. So secluded courtyard into attacking us with this guy. Remove 2 1/1 counters from non creatures you control. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Man, what is this? This is bloody witch hunt at the minute. That can't be right. Hopefully Generous Visitor is pretty pogs in this matchup. Opponent Werewolf Pack Leader. Whenever it attacks, if you attack with creatures total power of 6 or greater, draw a card until end of turn. As base power and toughness of 5/3, gaining trample. Alright, so mana off the top, and I'm happy to see that mana off the top. So we'll SRAM. We'll Sentinel's Eyes over here. We'll trigger on that, and we'll draw from our this one. Always yield there. Mana Confluence, a little bit of a dead draw. We can't technically attack just yet. I guess we could get a reset, but I don't think we want to give up our best guy. If I end up playing Unclaimed Territory into Reflector Mage, holy crap, what year is it, man? All right, so SRAM to hand, and I mean, hey, we lose a trigger on SRAM. Not incredible, not the worst. Take the damage off that one. Look to all that glitters next turn, and then we should have the biggest creature, right? Right? All right, so all that glitters over here. Trigger on the Archer Tower. Our Archer Tower has got Vigilance. It's nice and chunky. Let's get in. So hopefully we take a little bit of a pause on drawing these land drops here, hit some auras, and really see this game out. Opponent with this Experiment 1, and I think this is the first time I've realized this card is a human. No way, man. All right, Thalia does basically nothing at this point. Evolve trigger. Only 1 card left in hand for our opponent, so they're almost out of stuff. And no attacks, and oh god, man, not like this. What is this absolute rubbish, dude? So we don't have any form of first strike. If we're to attack, we can trade. I guess if we trade with their whole board, it's not too bad. Let's get in and attack. And then we can start resetting with SRAM on the second Basara. Maybe I should have left this one in hand before combat. I think I've misplayed this one a little bit. Opponent probably just blocks with the Reflector Mage and then continues with their life. No blocks from our opponent. All right, they're all the way down to 6. All right, we got to be in a reasonable spot here. All right, and here we are. Our opponent is attacking in combined power greater than 6. Our opponent has 1 counter here, so remove 2 1/1 counters from among creatures you control. They've got 2 1/1 counters. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. I think it's just a block like this, right? Because if they remove all that glitters, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see how that goes like super astray from that point. All right, let's do that. All right, all the glitters has bitten the dust, and we'll take care of that hopeful initiate. Get rid of that one off the battlefield. We'll take 7 damage, going to just 5 life, and hopefully we can see an aura off the top. Oh man, another hopeful initiative off the top. Come on, man, that's not what we're about. Calm your farm opponent. All right, Cartouche Solidarity isn't nothing. And we'll go ahead and SRAM. Attacking will cause a token, right? Wait, how's this token come on down? Yeah. So opponent will end up with 3 1/1 tokens, maybe a 4th from experiment 1. See what happens. If we draw Hammer Hand, we can play it off Mana Confluence. Oh, we can't. Oh, Jesus. This hurts. If we play this Cartouche, what happens? We go to 3. We've got 4 blockers. Yeah, I guess we can play Cartouche. Are we playing it on the creature we want to, though? Probably not. No, this is fine. So this can go here. Force the block on one of their guys. Play cover scout off the top. Let's go, team. All right, that does actually mean that we can block like extra power from our opponent next turn. So we probably want to control board state by attacking with Basara Archer Tower. Has vigilance anyway. Opponent blocks with the Hopeful Initiate. Let's go, man. Do we just not take damage from Glade Cover Scout? It could also allow us to attack wide next turn. I think we play it out. So the list I'm looking at has Brutal Cathar in the sideboard, so I think we're just good from here. Alright, opponent with this one, 3/3 Vigilance. Parryhood a number of creatures you control. Whenever you attack an opponent, create a 1/1 white creature token that's tapped an attacking player or a planeswalker. We currently have not quite enough damage. So opponent has 5 blockers. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attackers. So we need to get at least 2 damage through, and we can't get that through unless we get 2 triggers. Can put one of these on like the hexproof creature. We have to pay a life to do this though. So then we can put a 1/1 counter on the vigilance token. Jeez, our draws have been so bad this game. I mean, all the glitters is definitely a card. One, 2. Can we attack with this other Basara? It probably just blocks here. They just block that there, and we're dealing with smaller board state. Is the worst thing in the world. Probably we don't want to give our opponent an inch. Yep. Alright, so we'll attack like this. Oh, we actually need to get 6 damage through, not 2. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think my opponent's life total is my own. My god, I'm deliriously tired. Oh god, I just read this creature and well, our opponent has to block with at least 1 creature anyway, right? Okay. But our opponent would get a 1/1 token, which would be enough to kill us attacking wide. In any case, it looks like we just trade off with it. Which isn't the end of the world. Reflectomage here? That's 1 damage short from killing. You have to block with another creature, right? Yeah, so Reflectomage plus Experiment 1. Of course, we'll kill the Experiment 1 first. I'm not super upset about this. Thalia is going to control the board state reasonably well, though. We can't recast Sentinel's Eyes from the graveyard. We have a land in hand that doesn't deal damage to us, but it costs 2 to cast because of Thalia. Oh, opponent passes back to us. Okay. What's going on here, opponent? We'll play a land. Sentinel's Eyes here. Can't see a reason why we wouldn't put Sentinel's Eyes there. We'll exile, exile. What's our draw? So we have to do this before we resolve this ram. I think we just want to make the biggest creature possible. Maybe we want to up the warrior token though. Right, let's just up our creature, make it as big as possible. Another generous visitor off the top. Okay. So we can attack on in with this guy now. Our opponent doesn't have to block. It would put them to 1 though. And then we can play out the Bogles second main, assuming they don't block. Blocking with Thalia. Okay. Maybe this means they have a second Thalia in hand. We'll scout off the side anyway. Pass the turn. Opponent makes a land drop. Melira, the Living Cure. If you would get 1 or more poison counter instead, you get 1 poison counter. Oh, Thalia too, lame. And you can't get additional poison counters this turn. Exile it. Choose another target creature or artifact. When it's put into the graveyard, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. Okay. Generous visitor from us. It's going to give us an extra generous visitor trigger when we cast Sentinel's Eyes. We probably want to look to diversify a little bit here. On another hexproof creature, presumably. Another scout to hand. All right. Okay, so what does this mean? If we attack, they can chump. We can't deal 6 damage wide. So we just attack with these 2, and if we trade off with a creature, it's reasonable. All right, let's get in like that. And if they kill this scout, we get another cast with Sentinel's Eyes next turn, so it's not the end of the world. Bringing like forth our 3 triggers again. Alright, opponent chump blocking with Thalia on Basara Archer Tower. That means they're going to go down to 2 life, and we should be able to attack wide here mostly. We'll see what happens during their turn. Another mana for our opponent. Alright. This seems pretty locked at this point. Opponent attacking in. Drawing a card. And opponent concedes. Wow, that was pretty clutch. Alright, so this is mostly what the Bant Humans deck is about. We've seen a lot of these cards just previously in that match there. In the sideboard, they have access to a lot of hate. We've got Portable Hole, we've got Brutal Cathar, even extra copies of Thalia, and if they have extra copies of the other Thalia as well, that's can be pretty painful too. Knight of Autumn as well. Skyclave Apparition, just like a whole bunch of hate, right? Reminder as well, guys, if you do enjoy this video or find it educational, please consider subscribing. So we actually have a whole bunch of stuff which is pretty good against our opponent here. We have a Gansho. We have Fateful Absence, which can remove their creatures. We have SRAM, which is good into the War of Attrition. And Tamiyo's Safekeeping, which is good at protecting our board in response to what our opponent is doing. I think what we can realistically do is cut Commune with Spirits because it's not an aura. And we're potentially bringing in non-aura cards, right? And cut a Light Pause because we're bringing in a few SRAMs. I think after that, it's overboarding. So realistically, I don't think we want Tamiyo's Safekeeping, unfortunately. And then maybe we can just -1 Fateful Absence, get into the match. Definitely don't want to like overboard aura-wise there. Opponent mulligans to 6. I think we'll be joining them. This looks reasonable. We've got an interactive spell as well. Even though this is a land, it does interact with our opponent's SRAM, will make it slightly cheaper too. So Mana Confluence can go to the bottom, and we can get into the match. Turn 1, Hopeful Initiate from our opponent. Temple Garden, that can come in tapped. We'll pass the turn. All right, Werewolf Pack Leader from our opponent. Somehow human typing on the front side. Attacking with Hopeful Initiate. We'll take the 1 damage down to 19. Besaidu off the top of our library. I don't really think we want to utilize this. Probably the best move is shock in the Temple Garden and just play Basara. Take 2 points of damage doing that. I think realistically we'll do it anyway later. And I'm eyeing off playing this Branch Loft Pathway on its white side. Alright, opponent plays out Thalia, so that's going to slow us down a little bit. Attacking with these guys, training, yeah, great ability there, opponent. Something that like main deck interacts with enchantments, pretty savage. Alright, well opponent did miss on land drop. We definitely did not. Let's play this Pathway. Pass to our opponent, no attacks to be had. This way we're holding up a Ganjo. And next turn we can potentially SRAM plus Ethereal Armor. Alright, Thalia's Lieutenant from our opponent. Bring on the hurt. Oh goodness gracious, what do we even do here? I think we actually leave Thalia on the board and deal with this thing so they can't interact with our enchantments. I wonder if this fizzles. No, it won't because they've still got 7 power there. Alright, so they can get their card draw. Training. Oh, we can't even... Oh, shit. I should have killed this in response to training. What do we do now? Do we go after Thalia or do we go after Werewolf Pack Leader? I think we go after Werewolf Pack Leader. I am so foolish for letting this get up to that much power. Alright, so let's try and recover as best as we can. Alright, so that's us taking 7 damage. Our opponent is definitely ahead this match. At least so far. Razor Edge Thicket off the top. I have a feeling we're going to try and preserve life total here. Just something's just giving me that idea, right? Alright, so SRAM there. Audacity off the top, that's a good draw. We're not realistically blocking our opponent's creatures. If we block there, alright, so if they have nothing, which they probably won't, we just like can't not attack. Oh, I guess the opponent can't activate this unless they draw a land, which they finally do. Okay, I think we're dead regardless, but we should have held up blocks. Reflectomage. Cool. Well, we sort of had them there if we didn't muck up, but we mucked up. I think we'll bring in the final Fateful Absence, maybe taking out one All That Glitters. Let's submit, let's get into it. We're pretty heavy on the 2-drops at the moment. Hopefully we draw them later on. That's not the hand we're looking for. Neither is that. Opponent's mulling into 6. I mean, this is our 5. Like, god damn it, man. I don't think we can realistically go to 4 and win the game. I think we just keep a really greedy 5 and cross our fingers. Opponent keeping 6. It's lovely for us, right? Alright, we'll keep that one out. Why am I not playing Generous Visitor there? I'm a fool. Okay, well, we'll see how much we get punished because of that. I was just thinking turn 2 creature. Experiment 1, so wouldn't have done too much other than tempo anyway. I think this plays on green side, particularly with our hand. Guess it doesn't matter. Experiment 1 from our opponent, okay. Alright, well that's fine. They get 2 evolve triggers, but realistically we're still in a reasonable spot after that. If we dodge like Brutal Cathar plus Skyclave Apparition, we'll be in a reasonable spot. It's a pretty garbage draw. I think we leave a Kanjo in hand. And Kai's Ghost Form in the sideboard, unfortunately. Trigger here. We have a 4/4. I think it's Audacity. Yeah, maybe our opponent will try to get tricky with like blocks in a future turn and we can blow them out with a Ganjo. And this way, if they remove our creature, we get it back, right? Well, we get a card draw off of it. We don't necessarily get it back. God damn it, man. And this is the hand where they're not loaded up on unclaimed territory effects too. Oh, that hurts so badly, dude. Card draw, anything of relevance? Okay. Okay, that's not too bad. Opponent attacking in, 6 damage. We take it on the chin, I guess. Another Fateful Absence. All right, well, this one gets played. This one gets played. I don't think there's too many attacks to be had here. Reflector Mage from our opponent. That's going to grow these experiment ones, which I'm not in love about. Not sure how we get out of this one. Another unclaimed territory from the opponent. 1 card left in hand. Maybe they're mana flooded. Maybe this is everything and we can try to survive. This is getting the trigger regardless. We can kill this, take 3, 6, 7, 8. I guess we have to. And then we're just like praying horribly. Doesn't feel great giving your opponent a clue token when they have this much mana, right? Yikes. No blocks either. Okay, what can we do? Block, remove, take 4, die. Well, I guess that's GG's. We got pretty screwed by mulling to 5 and having a bad 5, right? We could have put this Generous Visitor out earlier. It wouldn't have impacted anything too much, I don't think. Maybe our opponent leaves 1 back and doesn't attack with it. Alright, attacks in this fashion. Block, block, take 4, lose. I guess technically we Aganjo here. It's more mana efficient. But that's going to be good games. Oh, he just has like a regenerate effect. Well, regenerate does tap the creature and importantly remove it from combat. I remember there was like a GP once where the judge got that like whole ruling wrong. And somehow the player got to keep the creature, which seemed ridiculous. And the creature also didn't tap, which seemed even more ridiculous. So we end that league 3-2, and I mean, it's a better result than what we got with the Orzhov list, right? I think maybe we could have squeezed a little bit more out of the first match. I did misplay a fair bit there. I think I misplayed a fair bit throughout it, but particularly in the first and second matches. Critically losing the first one, right? Against the humans deck there, I think mostly it's a bad matchup, and also we kind of low rolled what we're doing. As far as everything's concerned, I really like Generous Visitor. I think this card is very, very good. It's possible we want to leverage this a little bit harder and just remove like our 2 mana auras. This is going to mean like losing Alpha Authority, potentially losing All That Glitters. I think I want to just try it where we load up on our Cartouche, our Griff Spoon, our Ethereal Armor, maybe even make room for a main deck Kai's Ghost Form. I mean, there's no Chalice of the Void in the metagame to worry about, so it makes a lot of sense, and it makes a lot of sense when you're doubling up with like things like SRAM and Light Pause to have as mana efficient auras as possible. Commune I think is fine. It gives you a turn 1 play, much like Generous Visitor. In the hands where you don't have Gladecover Scout, or in the hands where you don't play your Temple Guardian tapped, they would do that. It's possible that you only want like 6 of these effects or something like that, so maybe you can go a 3-3 split or whatever your flavor is there. Sideboard wise, I think the main tweaking is going to be in the sideboard. Fateful Absence is reasonable. I found myself not really wanting to board in Tamiyo Safekeeping a huge amount. I think that's a combination of like the enchantment removal, like 1-for-1s. So Tamiyo Safekeeping is going to be in response to that removal spell, or if you top deck the Tamiyo Safekeeping, it gives nothing to your creature. Additionally, we also have the Generous Visitors, so it just makes our enchantments hit that a little bit harder, right? Still, Tamiyo Safekeeping, I think it's an important one in the sideboard for those decks with effects like Supreme Verdict, right? if we're unsure on what to fill sideboard slots with, it's possible that we could consider something like Pithing Needle. So this could be quite handful in the face of opponents' Besages, also in the face of various planeswalkers, things like that. It seems like a good one to keep in mind at the very least. I'm not sure I really want Graveyard Hate in form of Rest in Peace. I'm also not sure I really want Saram. Although possibly that's like a board in removal heavy decks, like board that in for Commune or something, but maybe this is just a little bit greedy and we should be running more copies in main deck. As far as this league was concerned, Manical Influence was a little bit of a burden there, particularly against that Humans player in the second match. Something like Brushland would have saved us a lot of life, and we might have actually have got there that game. Yeah, so that's something to consider and keep in mind. As I stated before, though, I'm going to look to take out a lot of those 2-mana cards. So at the moment, what it's going to look like here is we're going to load up on playsets of Griffspoon, playsets of Sentinel's Eyes. Of course, the Audacity and Ethereal Armor also remain playsets. With Cartouche of Solidarity going up to 2 copies. I think Kaya's Ghost Form should remain in this sideboard at the moment. Although maybe we could just swap that with a Cartouche or something. I don't think there's many like Edict/Sacrifice a Creature effects here, so maybe Cartouche is just not as amazing as I think it is. So let's go for let's actually go for the Kaya's Ghost Form there. Anyway, so from there, that is probably the main deck I'm going to look at for the next league. The sideboard, however, I mean, that's up for discussion, that's up for debate. Guys, scream at me at what to include because I do not know this metagame. Thank you all so much for watching the video here. I hope you did enjoy it. Positive league so far and positive for us participating in this format. So till next time, guys, have a wonderful day. I'll catch you then.